just be here with me, because if you understand what I'm saying, I'm teaching you something that one day, if you really understand it, it can make you millions and millions of dollars. The pain for me is like not becoming who I want to be. I don't really have like a lot of medical complications and things, although I almost did die one time because they said that I was showing up to these meetings when we were first opening the company, and they said, Ian, I was taking like 5 naps a day, and I thought it was just because I turned 30 years old. I thought like the whole world changed on me. I was like, damn, dude, I got old. And then like literally I would go to the car and I would just sleep, and I'd do like 15 Zooms a day. They were all for free. I didn't charge anybody for them because I didn't really know what I was doing. And so I'd be like, hey, if you want to see me on Zoom, jump on here, bro. We're going to change your damn life, right? And I'll do these Zooms all day, full of energy, full of passion, full of drive, and I would go take like 9 naps. And then these doctors told me, hey, you have a level 9 testosterone. Like, we've literally never seen this before, and it's making you allergic to all these foods. My skin was breaking out. I was getting pale, my brother too. And they said, dude, it's because you're like putting diesel gas in a Ferrari. He's like, God has implanted something in you that makes you drive like this. I've been to your seminars. I've seen what you do. I follow you on social media. He's like, Ian, what you're doing is physically impossible. Physically impossible. And he's like, you're months away from dying. But a lot of this is correctable through us pulling your blood. They went through, I take like, a few vitamins and a couple things. And, they're like, this is totally correctable over 2 years of hard work to recorrect you. But anyways, I was really hurting myself, but I wanted people to see me as a person that they could take some inspiration from, that they could, they could take the wounds, they could take the lessons, they could take the things that I saw in my mom. When I was looking at her, I saw this superhero of a lady that didn't complain. She just showed up. She just did the work. She came home. She would work till 4 in the morning. Her light would be on. I didn't understand as a kid what that meant. Like, I didn't understand. I was just like, she just works hard, right? And that, because I saw her with a certain lens, it changed my life. So today, I just started thinking, man, how does your kids view you? How does your customers view you? How does your family view you? How does your team view you? How do you view you? I want my customers to know that I'm going to show up for them. I'm going to always grow for them. I am never going to stop growing, because if they look up to me, they're going to look up to seeing a journey of growth. They also don't want to be with somebody that's a fraudulent liar. I know that. So to me, when I stopped drinking, I just said, hey man, and I had some hiccups along that drinking road. I was like, man, I kind of want to stop drinking. It felt good. And then I made this decision because I started hating it. But then I would get on Zooms and I would be like, oh, you can stop something. And then I'd kind of struggle with it. And then I stopped. And, along that journey, I drank 1 or 2 beers at an event. I just was like, man, dude, I lost a lot of respect for myself. Just being honest with you. And I started thinking about, man, if I'm going to tell people something, I got to live it even better. Now, am I living it better than most? Sure, but that's not my goal. My goal is to live it how I saw my grandfather live it. My goal is to live it how I saw Andy live in it. Hey guys, it's the Macklin Twins. Let's go. You can join our free training where you're going to see thousands of 1%ers just like you in our community, training on personal development, sales, mindset, and greatness. Yes. Join us. It's free. Click the link in the description. ELLIOTT Training Academy. We'll see you on the inside. Let's go, baby. Click the link. Honestly, guys, I want to tell you something about Andy. There is nobody that lives more extreme than Andy. If he's on point with something, there's like, dude, last night, his wife, we got this trunk or treat going on outside of the den with all the kids. I've never even seen Andy eat candy. Really, I haven't. I've seen him have 2 cheat meals in 4 years, and I've been with him almost every single day, maybe 4 days out of those 4 years I haven't been with him. I've just never seen him have a cheat meal. We've been on vacations in front of things that you could just eat. And last night his wife forced him to eat a jelly donut, a little bit, like a tip of it. But Andy is a fat guy at heart. If you guys didn't know this, if the snack drawer is open, Andy wants to eat all of those snacks. And if he eats one, he'll eat 1,000. It's like me. If I drink 1 beer, I'll probably going to drink 7,000 shots. You know what I'm saying? So I got to kind of watch myself. You know what I mean? I got to kind of have this sense of awareness of myself. But I also have to operate of how do I want my kids to see me? How do I want my customers to see me? And I think a lot of people don't ask themselves this question. And so as I was going along, I'm like, man, my mom's in town today. And my mom, she means everything to me. But I started asking myself on the way over here, my mom flew in And my mom comes and gives me a hug last night, and I was revisiting this in my brain, and I'm like, hey mom, like, and I was on my phone and I was kind of distracted. Like, my mom hasn't seen me in a few months, and I'm so distracted with what's going on. She goes, hey, and I'm like, what? She's like, dude, I haven't been here in months. And then I was just like, oh damn. And I got like in there, like, have you guys ever, like, just your mind's like somewhere else, you know, like your mind's somewhere else. Why do I always write on my hand 90% of the days, you know, you're exactly where you should be? Because I got to remind myself to be right here. Like, it is very hard for me to be right here because I'm thinking about 900 things, 900 reasons, things we can accomplish, ways that we can go. So it's very important for me to have the focus and the lens of right now, today. You know, my brother called me last night and he said, hey, you know, hey, instead of us having a lot of short-term thinking, like, because we think in like a year or 2 years, he goes, how about we zoom out? He goes, because like, if you look at a graph and the graph goes up and down, like success, like your business goes like this, like every business goes like this, no matter what business it is, if you look at the stocks of anything. But if you zoom out to a 10-year stock view, there's relatively a lot of growth and you don't see those. So as you're growing, it feels jaded. It feels hard. You can feel the pain of every little increment of growth, right? But 5 years from now, you won't even remember a lot of that time. So my brother's like, you gotta flip your mindset of like, you might be having a challenging month or whatever it is, but like, if you really look at the right things, you're doing the behaviors of a winner. You're doing the behaviors of the winner. I don't really like to teach salespeople to make a whole lot of, like, I'm not the phone call kind of guy. I can teach you how to make an outbound phone call of all these things and stuff, right? But honestly, if you had the behavior of a winner on a phone call, you should only have to make 10 or 15. I see salespeople that make 900 phone calls. I'm like, why? Like, why? I don't understand. Like, can't you just have the behavior of a winner on that phone call to be right where you're at, to be right with that customer, to know exactly what to say? Isn't it your job to know what to say? How does that customer view you when you don't know what to say? How does your manager view you when you don't know what to say? You know, there's a guy that messaged me last night in the school community, and he messaged me on Facebook, which is crazy, instead of the school community where I actually like reply a lot back, and I've said that 1,000 times, but it's because he's never even really heard me speak. Check this out. He calls me, he loses his dealership, he goes bankrupt, and if he's on here, I'm glad you're gonna hear this. Him and his grandfather built a dealership. His grandfather passed away. Maybe the business lost some momentum. He was carrying it for 2 years. He's a young kid. Honestly, that's really extremely hard. It was gonna be really extremely hard. He has to look at it that way. And he has to look at it like everything is working for you. I honestly don't look at anything and say it's working against me. I'm always thinking it works for me. No matter how big the problem is. My wife, I had this very big challenge in our company. As I'm going to become a global company, there's a lot of big challenges. I'm trying to get my mind around it. I'm going to Harvard. That's hard for me. I can't go sit down at a class. I have to take this online shit. There's a lot of elements to becoming a global company. And my wife's sitting there telling me, you have this, Ian, this is a real challenge, this thing that you're going through. And I don't really want to talk about it right now because it's still kind of so fresh to me. I'm still just navigating it, right? And, but I will tell you guys one day, but not right now. But she's like, she looks stressed. And she's like, you don't look stressed. And I was like, because everything that I've been through, I've touched the stove for a certain reason. Honestly, I told my wife, when I woke up this morning, I prayed for a big challenge. I literally had a meeting with God. And I don't know if she believed me, but I said, I literally just sat there. And every morning I wake up for 10 minutes and I want God to view me a certain way. I truly want to carry the lens of like, how does God view me? Like, does he view me as, because we talk about like this great God that's going to give you everything, but like, let's talk about the God that when you get to the gates is going to say you didn't do shit and you really didn't steward any of your blessings. There's a merciful God too. If you're not living by anything and you think you're going to get in the gates of heaven, I don't believe that God's that way. I believe he's going to send your ass back to where you need to go and place you where you need to be. So I wake up in the morning, and I wasn't always this way. And I sit there and I take 10 minutes every morning, no matter, I'm not talking about this. I live this. And I sit there and I'm like, all right, God, hey, number one, I'm not praying, like I don't pray a whole lot for new things and new growth. I don't pray a whole lot for that. Honestly, I got a lot of courage because I'm praying for heartache. I'm praying for pain, truly. This isn't a game. And so when I get that, I know that I asked for it. So my lens is like, hey, you asked for that, bro. So when I'm talking to my wife and she's like, what do you feel about this? I'm like, I feel like it's the best thing for me. And she's like, That's absolutely kind of absurd that you would think that. Like, I can see that on her. She's not saying that. She's like, that's crazy. And I was telling one of my advisors about this, and he's like, what do you feel about this? And I was like, it's the greatest thing for me, man. Anytime I've ever been able to go through something hard, I've been able to teach somebody and advance somebody's life. And if my goal is to help others, like it was my grandfather's goal, my grandfather opened up a school, never made a lot of money. My grandfather made $60,000, $70,000 a year his whole life. He opened up a school that impacted millions of people. It was never about the money. You know, if we get the money, cool. But ultimately, I want people to be able to fix their life and get better. So I'm looking through that lens when I'm sitting there praying to God, and I'm like, hey man, today, whatever you give me, I'm gonna steward it right. I'm gonna have a good attitude, and I need you to help me with that. That's the thing that I will need your help on. Please give me the strength. Please give me the courage. Please give me everything that I need to make it through these challenges that I know you want me to face. I know you built me to be a warrior. I know that you built me to, you know, serve others. I know that you built me to be an example for other people. I know you built me to have heavy responsibilities. I know this. I feel this. I can tell. I know it. So today, if you got to give me a challenge, just give me the courage to whip my sword out and run through that freaking challenge like no other, with you behind my back. At that very moment when I'm doubting myself, please give me the perspective that you're right behind me. When I walk into this room of 500 people, I want them to feel like God's walking behind this guy. Like they don't know why this guy's walking so fast, so urgent, so full of power. And I want them to know it's because I've got a big God behind me. And I know you can give me that courage. And that's what I say, man. Anytime I'm going on stage, I don't go on stage like, oh man, like, oh, I hope I do good. I have a meeting with God and I say, God, you best give me the power to go deliver something and shake these people's core. And that's what you're going to see when you're with me down at the school meetup. I'm not doing this to play. I'm not doing this. I'm doing this because I want my customers to view a servant heart leader. I want them to see that we are doing everything that it takes for them to win. We are trying, we are growing, we are doing whatever it takes, okay? So today I want you to think about that. As we open up on this, I'm going to get into the training a little bit, but I want you to think about how deep are your connections. Now, I want to break this down into a couple areas, and I want to first start with your family. I want you to first start with how do your kids view you? And what can you do right now to deepen the relationship within your own family? What can you do right now to steward the number one blessing that you're supposed to be stewarding, which is your family? Man, I'm not the best in this one. I know it, man. There's family members I don't talk to anymore. And some of them, I'm gonna tell you, you don't need to talk to anymore, okay? I'm sure of that. But there's some of them that, man, maybe you just haven't given the right chance, and in order to build a relationship with anybody, it's called maintenance. You have to take maintenance in a relationship. My best clients, the guys that roll with me a lot, they'll shoot a text message here and there. You know, we talk here and there. I mean, we don't have to talk to each other every day, but I mean, we're on this mission together for life. So like, you know, it's not just me reaching out to them, it's them reaching out to me, but I got to reach out to them. You know, in my family, I have on my calendar, I write down, I have an alert that says at 12 o'clock, I text my wife. I literally have it automated because if not, I just go work all day, okay? I like to work. If you put me in a room and just said you could work for the next 2 years without talking to nobody, that would be where I would like to be, honestly. I studied personality traits this other day with these really powerful guys, and everybody thinks I'm high parrot, which is like in this DISC trait, it's like you like to talk and you like to motivate. I took this test and I didn't know what test I was taking, and everybody in my office guessed that I was a certain way. When they revealed my actual personality trait, it's that I'm very logical, that I'm very structured. People don't see that in me because they see me running around our business going like this, but they don't see the dark. They don't see that at home. I woke up at 2:30 this morning because my brain couldn't sleep, and I literally wrote out notes of this course. I wrote out the entire itinerary of our school meetup this morning at 2:30 because I had it on my list last night and I didn't check it off, and my brain knew that. I knew that I was shortcutting. I went to sleep saying I was going to get this done. I didn't get it done. And if I view myself like a leader and as a guy that's going to accomplish all of these things, then one thing does truly matter. I don't know what woke me up. I sleep really hard, but for some reason at 2:30 this morning, I could not sleep. And if you check, you know, I wrote it like through my chat GPT. If you check it at 2:30 in the morning, it literally said, you know, obviously that I was writing this thing. So, you know, sometimes it's like, what are you doing really in the dark? I don't really feel like I've ever had a day off because I don't even sleep. Like when I'm sleeping, I'm dreaming about how to solve problems, how to do these things. And so my personality trait is not just, it's high eagle. I know you don't know what that means, but that's very direct. You overthink everything. You run really fast, you're urgent, you fly really high, you like to be above the pack, like shit like that. Okay, but everybody thought that's what I was gonna be, that and a parrot. Really, what I was an owl, which is I'm very skeptical. I look around, I watch everybody, I'm very logical. I suppress my emotion down underneath until it really comes out. My passion is not my emotion. My emotion is when I'm mad. My emotion is when I'm upset. And I deal with that a lot because I'm very emotional, but you can't see it externally like an owl. You know what I mean? So anyways, people had me wrong. You know what I mean? But I have to have them view me a certain way in our company. I have to have them view me a certain way. And so I have to channel this motivational side of me. Honestly, I don't really like speaking, but I've had to speak 1,000 times, so I know how to channel that out of me. But when I go home, it takes a lot out of me because I don't want to do it. So since I don't want to do it and I come give it all day long, I'm like, I'm doing all of that all day long. What I've learned about myself is that's not my natural habitat. That's not really where I really want to be. Where I really want to be is in a dark corner and working and getting results. We have this bell upstairs where we shake this bell like once we make a big deal, right? I've never shaken the bell. You know why? Because I don't like the recognition of it. I don't like the clapping. I don't like the people being like, oh, what'd you do? Like, I don't like that. I don't like it. It really turns me off. Like I did it in the car business a lot. And, I use that as a closing tool in the car business. You walk them up to the bell and you close them. And there's 1,000 videos of me doing it. But honestly, I don't really like it. I would much rather win in the dark. That's my personality. And some people aren't the same. They have to have the recognition. They have to, and that's okay. But in leadership, you have to also understand how to approach these personalities. I'll teach that at another time. Let me not get down that rabbit hole. But what I'm saying is how do you view you? How do the clients view you? And how does your team view you? And I want you to think about a couple of these things because I had a realization this morning that my son is viewing me a certain way. And a lot of times he's getting a certain version that's my default. And my default is like hard worker. My default is like nothing else matters but work. And so what I have to do is, and you guys have to do this too, is you have to channel a different level of you for different relationships. You have to show up a different version of you for different people, okay? For him, he's a very loving person. He has a personality trait, and I've studied it, so I know what it is, and he has to feel love. He has to feel recognition. He has to feel seen. And Dad doesn't see that all the time because I'm only seeing what I want to see. So this level that I'm talking about is you can't have surface level conversations. It's super easy for the human mind to default to what they want versus what you have to channel for other people. Does that make sense? Are you guys getting what I'm putting down? Okay, a bunch of people left. They're like, fuck this. This isn't Ian yelling today. Okay, but honestly, this is really important to me because how you show up for your family is the #1 thing that you should be concerned with. My wife, I've studied her personality trait. My wife is very organized. She's very direct. She wants things done a certain way, and I don't want to do them that way because that's not my personality trait. So me and her have like this combativeness because she's like, even today, she's like, hey, your job is to do the bottles before you leave, like clean all the bottles in the sink. And I'm like, well, I got an 8 o'clock meeting. I got to do this. I got to do that. You don't understand. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm showing up high ego. I'm showing up I'm showing up in a way where I'm not trying to understand her first. I need to understand her first. Okay. So hold on. I calm myself down. That's what I wanted to say. That's how I wanted to jump at her. And I was like, perfect. I'll get on that right now. Let me work on that right now. I got a meeting at 8 o'clock. I'm going to try to get as many of them as I can done. I got you. And she looked at me like, the fuck? It's not that she wanted to fight with me. She just knew my response. Like she's learned that. So what I'm learning about myself right now is that there's many versions of Ian, but I also have to be able to channel each version of Ian at certain times. And at certain times I've failed miserably at this because I've only shown them a certain level. My team, I'm going to get into team real quick if you're a leader. My team sees a very certain version of me. It's like, we're doing this, we're going this way, let's go. Why are you bitching? Why are you complaining? Why are you crying? I don't know. I don't really deal with a lot of emotions. I'll be honest with you. I deal with like my own, like, I do get emotional, like where I'm like fired the fuck up to win, but I'm not like, how do I feel today? I already know I'm going to feel like shit. So it doesn't really matter. Like, I kind of like, I'm like, I've never felt like doing all the work. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if anybody has. I don't know. I mean, I see guys that say they do, but like, I'm sold on my version of like, fuck no, you don't, bro. There's no way you want to show up and do all that shit. Like, everybody wants to sit on the beach, bro. Everybody wants to watch Netflix all day. Everybody wants to watch football, bro. Like, so when people tell me, oh, I just show up like this all the time, I'm like, I don't know if I believe that. I don't know if I believe that. But with my team, the way I show up for them is usually in that high ego version where I'm like, let's go, let's go, let's go. Fuck your feelings, fuck your, like, let's go, right? But sometimes that's not the best way to show up because they all have different personality traits. So I got to show up like, hey, you know, tell me a little bit about that. What are you trying to do? Where are we missing? Like, I got to be a little bit more intentional, right? Some people I don't need to do that with. If I did that with some people, it would scare them. They'd be like, what's wrong, Ian? What's wrong with you? But, you know, you have like admin people, you have media people, you have other people, you have, you know, women and children and all kinds of shit. So I have to channel what I'm learning about me is like when I'm talking to somebody, I'm not talking to them at my level. I'm talking to them at their level. And if you're a really good salesperson, which we all are, you have to identify who you have in front of you. You have to identify who your customer is in front of you. You have to identify who your employee is in front of you. You have to identify the relationship that you have in front of you. You have to, and then if you can do this and you have a self-awareness of how these people operate, because there is only 4 personality traits. I'll teach you guys this in a session very soon, and we'll go through it very deep. But if you know how to do this, it really makes the combativeness in like your life a whole lot easier. If I show up to Andy and I'm like, hey, Andy, let's talk about how you're feeling today. Let's talk about like what I'm feeling today. Andy, like, me and him are the same. He's like, the fuck are we talking about, dude? Like, are you serious? Like, that would turn him off. But if I'm like, Andy, today, like I sent him a message today. I said, dude, I know you're in Cabo. You better rip them fucking heads off today. I'm like, just because I'm there doesn't mean you can shortcut it, you know, like, cause I'll just like mess with him. I'm like, every time I'm around you, you're running hotter, bro. You better just remember I'm inside your fucking brain, dude. Let's go. Like, I'm messing with him, right? Because as a leader, he needs that. He feeds off that. He feeds off energy. If he walks into his building and it's cold, it fucks with his emotions. Like if he walks in this building and people aren't excited, they're not rolling around, he's high ego, man. He wants to fly high. He wants to attack shit. So if he feels like nobody's attacking shit, he's like, oh, we're burning down. And then he wants to make quick decisions. And his default is like, we got to make a decision. And then it's usually the wrong decision. You guys get what I'm saying? So in order to help support his vision, the music's got to be up, people got to be rolling around, and we've got to be able to support that vision because we know how he is, right? Jackie's not like that. Jackie is she's like me. She's a little bit more logical. She's a little bit less emotional, and she wants to know the facts. She wants to know the data. She wants to know how to drive it. She wants to know what's really going on. When I go into a presentation with her, I don't go in without 500 facts. Enrique's seen it. He's seen it. He's like, I can't believe that's how you, like, he'll watch me prepare. You can ask him. And he's like, and I'll tell him, I'll show him, because he's like my little understudy. I'm like, and if he's learning, one day he's going to be the most dangerous dude on the planet because I know how dangerous I am. He's figuring out that there's 500 moves to one leadership decision. A lot of times. Sometimes there's very decisive, quick decisions. You know you should make it. But then sometimes you're affecting 100 lives. You're affecting 100 people. There's a lot to that decision. You can't just go do something, you know? If you're in sales, let's go into the way that you view your sales. If you're in sales, how does your customer view you? If you don't know who you're showing up with on a Zoom and you don't know how you're showing up for somebody, how your energy is, how excited you should be, or how you should calm your energy down just a little bit so that they can gravitate towards it and not be so high, then your prospect might miss you. If I show up on a Zoom and I start talking to a leader and he says he has 150 direct employees, I highly doubt I'm going to try to one call close a guy like that. Why? Because he's probably got direct reports that are very important to him and they need to be bought in on the decision too, and I understand that. So instead of saying, hey, let's get you to make the decision like amateur salespeople do, I say, hey man, let's get the most important people to you together if this is how you like to do it, and let's get your council together and make the decision together so that way your lower level management can implement this decision. Does that sound more like how you do it? He's like, yeah, my team makes all the decisions. I know, because if you walked over to Andy and told him, hey, you want to sell him this training or this plan, he's not making any of those decisions. He's just going to say, hey, Ian, what do you think about this? Hey, take this to the team and like, let's figure this out. Like, what do you think? Because in the past, he's made those decisions and it didn't work because you have a corporation, right? So how do your customers see you? Hey, Dustin, I was just with a salesperson upstairs. Be honest with you, this guy's trained with us for 3 years. Hey, I'm just very direct. My brother, we had a great meeting and we're all roo-roo, ha-ha, laughing, kissing babies, talking about the trick or treat. And then my brother gets up. My brother's not being negative. You know, my brother's very high leadership, high ego. He's just going to say it like it is and fuck what you feel. But he's got to show up in a different way. So I said, hey, if you're going to get ready to go up and do what I think you're about to do, because I see what my brother's eyes look like, because this guy is in his chair like this. Looks like he fucking sleep. Just fucking, the whole room's got energy and you look like you're dead. And you've been waiting to be here for a couple of years. I'm just being honest with you. So my brother, when he's going into this meeting, I'm like, hey, you can't bring ego into this. Like, you can bring a little bit, but you're also going to have to bring some support into this. So you can't just go be like, that guy fucking, look at this guy. You know, because I thought that's how we used to do it. You know, he's got to go in there and be like, hey man, I see a lot in this guy. I see what this guy's capable of. But do you guys think that this kind of energy wins? They're like, hell no. And then we're like, all right, let's talk about a couple people in the company that have this energy that's winning. Boom, 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 boom. Points out 5 of them. They feel recognition because they want to feel heard. It's a leadership mastery, bro. And then he's like, look at this person, look at this person. Now, can we get this guy to be this? And if we don't tell this guy this, it actually affects our culture. What is that? It's honesty, it's being direct, it's making sure that we have a culture of accountability instead of a culture of people that just walk on eggshells. You guys tracking me? And if you're not a leader, or like, you are all leaders, but if you're not like leading a team, just track me, just be with me on this experience. Like, just be here with me, because if you understand what I'm saying, I'm teaching you something that one day, if you really understand it, it can make you millions and millions of dollars, okay? So in that meeting, he has to give it a very specific way because he can't just fracture everybody. Does that make sense? And he also has to then bring them up, but he has to be very clear with this person. That's not what we stand for. That's not how we do it. And that's not how you're going to do it. And the guy gets a chance to change. But here's how fast changes in a company that expects accountability. If you don't change, you're gone. You know, so like, we don't have to sit around and talk about it. We've mentioned it twice publicly. Third time, you might just have to go, man. You might just not fit here, okay? Because we've got to win. And why? Because the way our customers view us. The way our customers view us is they want our standards to be high. They want to see people that are living by what they say. And if that's the way you look, you can't help our customers, man. They're not going to believe in you. Does this make sense, guys? So it goes back to a couple of things. You know, we talked about family. How does your family view you? Team, how does your team view you? Listen, you could be a salesperson on the floor right now and you could be the problem. That guy that I'll go back on the car dealership that was closing, I didn't finish that. Let me get back to that. He loses the business, so he's inevitably wounded, okay? He's inevitably wounded. Let me talk about him. And if you're on the Zoom, sorry I skipped over you and got distracted, I'll go back. You know, he's wounded, goes into a dealership, you know, and I'm talking about how great this is for him. I'm like, bro, but you know what? When you're in the storm, does it feel that good? Nah. But here's the goal. If you can be aware and be in that storm and zoom out, always remember, zoom out. That storm's a little storm in the ocean, bro. You're gonna get right past there and you're in nice open seas. You're cool, man. It's just like that graph where I was telling you that's all jaded and it feels messy right now, but then if you zoom out, you're actually growing. Like if you looked at Sharada's growth, she was like, you know, and she could still be going like this right here, but what we're seeing is a lot less of the dips and it's going like that. So her graph over time is like, whoa, man, holy shit. She's actually like Amazon right now. But it might not feel like you're Amazon right now. I'll be honest with you. It doesn't fit. 99. If it does feel like you're Amazon right now, you're fucked. You know, because that means you're just comfortable, dude. It should not feel like you're winning. Winning is nasty. Winning is not fun. Getting rich is nasty. It's not fun. I don't give a shit what anybody tells you. You want to become a millionaire? Become a millionaire, not know how to manage money. Become a millionaire, not know how to manage a team. Be a millionaire that got lucky and just worked your way up to there and get that money and not know what to do with it, not know how to manage it, not know how to do this. You become a millionaire. It'd be some of you guys' worst mistake right now if somebody gave you $1 million. Why do you guys think that somebody who wins the lottery goes broke and then goes to jail? They don't know how to manage it. They don't know what happens. They get attacked from all kinds of people. Their brains aren't ready. They don't understand. There's a method to it, right? And since they don't know how to manage it, and I'm not talking about just manage the money, but manage like family expectations, friends' expectations, how they operate, how they still show up. They don't know how to manage their disciplines. When they get that money, everything collapses. So getting money right now is the worst. It's not what you're trying to do. Me and my brother just said, we said, let's not even talk about our revenue. Like, let's start talking about, are we really truly getting good to our 3-year plan? Like, let's now zoom out to our 10-year plan. Are we truly going to be the best speakers and the best motivators and the best communicators and the best leaders in the world in 10 years? That's my only goal. That's my only goal. And to make those within our network. So you gotta look at that. That kid goes into a dealership. He's viewing himself as a loser. He's acting like a loser. He's treating himself like a loser. He's believing like a loser. He's making friends like a loser. And so in turn, right now, he's the only person on the sales floor with 0 cars. And he's like, Ian, what do I do? I said, wake the fuck up, man. How often are you gonna get your ass kicked? How much more is it gonna take for you to just snap out of it, dude? I said, let go of the past. Decide that you can be great. Decide that your grandfather is up there looking down on you and he's trying to see if you got it. And right now, you're very disrespectful to your bloodline. Right now, you're very disrespectful to all the people that believe in you. Right now, that little baby-ass energy that you got, thinking about all the things you don't have, thinking about the car dealer that you lost and you're no longer an owner, now you're a salesperson. Dude, you're getting ready to suffer bad. And you know what? Who's gonna suffer more? The people that are looking at you. The lens that they're looking at is, that's not my son. That's not my dad. Hey, that's not my grandson. God's looking at you and he's like, dude, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. We tried to give you all of this hurt, all of this pain for a reason. And you know what you did with it? You squandered it, man. You squandered the most important thing in your life, which was, we gave you this hurt and pain for a fucking reason. So you literally are taking the greatest moment in your life, and since you are such a little baby, you are squandering the opportunity to grow. You know where growth comes from? Pain. If you want more growth, get more pain. Dude, I went and did leg day with this guy down in Scottsdale. I told you guys, I'm paying for the best trainer that I can find. I am determined to get to 195. But you know what? I was just telling Enrique, I had to wake up at 5 a.m. after I had done my business at 3, like I was telling you guys. I had to wake up, I'd eat 2 bagels with peanut butter. I fucking hate peanut butter. I know some of you like it, but I hate it, okay? It's literally the most disgusting thing on the planet. I'd rather eat dog shit. Seriously. I literally, it's chalky, my mouth, blah, blah, blah. It's just, I just don't like the texture. There's some things you don't like that sound weird. I don't like peanut butter. I gotta eat peanut butter. I gotta eat 2 fucking bagels. I gotta eat egg whites. The egg whites, while you cook them, it smells like shit. I don't like it. I gotta cook that. I gotta be quiet because my baby's sleeping. My wife's over there sleeping. Everybody's sleeping. It's dark. I can't even turn the light on. It looks like a motivational movie. Enrique, you should come over and record it. I have the light on my phone, and then the light's just facing me, and it's the only thing you can see in my house. And I'm smelling these nasty ass eggs that I don't want to eat. I'm eating this nasty ass peanut butter bagel that I don't want to eat. I have to drink 60 ounces of water before I leave the house in 1 hour. I don't want to consume that much water. I don't want to do any of it. I don't want to take all the vitamins that I'm supposed to take. I don't want to do it, but I want to be that 205. I want to get across the goal that I'm going to. I go do legs with this guy, and I regret it the whole time until it's done. And then I feel the progress, and I'm like, oh, fuck, man. That was an extremely hard morning, because you know what? Some of you think that, like, losing weight is hard. Wait till you have to gain 30 pounds of muscle. That's a whole lot harder. Some of you just got to stop eating. But listen, hey, I know how much of a struggle that is, because if my lens is, it's hard to consume that much food, your lens is, it's hard to not eat that shit. I get it. You drive by McDonald's, you're hungry. I get it. I drive by a liquor store, I'm ready to pull over and drink 12 beers and just kick it for the day. Like, that'd be great, okay? So, like, there's a hard no matter what. You're like, well, I wish I could eat peanut butter jelly fucking sandwiches and all this other shit. I'm like, I don't, dude. I don't. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. But you know what? It feels good to get the progress. It feels good to do the things that you know you should be doing. It feels good to know right now I am the healthiest I've ever been, internally and externally. There's a lot of bodybuilders out there that are gonna die in a year because they're just taking everything that it takes to get to the result. I'm not after that. I'm not after that. I am going the hard route. I am going the challenging route. I am using a lens that I am going to say, this is going to be hard and I am going to like it. Even during the workouts when I want to leave, I'm like, this is exactly what you paid for. This is exactly what you needed. This is exactly what you needed. You're going to gain 20 pounds on your legs. This is exactly what you needed. Yep. And then I leave there. And then right now, I got to leave and I got to go have my third meal. I got to go eat beef rice, another freaking 24 ounces of water. I mean, bro, and then that's gonna come in 1 more hour after I drink a 1,300 calorie protein shake. I mean, dude, it feels like Thanksgiving just occurred and I have to keep energy? How, dude? I feel like I'm stuffed. I'm like, I'm about to throw up, okay? Choose your hard. I just don't want to be, I just want to get to my goal, okay? So I'm willing to die for it. That kid has to decide to be great. He's got to decide that the old him isn't the him now, that the new him is coming. But you can decide today to be great. It doesn't take 6 months, bro. It's a decision. Results take time. Deciding today to walk in the dealership. I said, you know what I know about you, bro? I didn't even talk to him. I sent him the longest voicemail I probably sent to anybody. Fucking 7-minute rant. And I'm like, you know what I know about you, bro? I know that you got the worst attitude in the dealer. I know that if I sat next to you, it'd be like that guy upstairs sleeping in his chair. It'd be that guy when I get around you, I don't feel good. You know why? Because you're in a Toyota store. That tells me there's no lack of leads. You've definitely come across customers, but your inner experience is what they're outer experiencing from you. They're experiencing that you're doubting yourself. They're experiencing your last losses. They're experiencing your negativity. They're experiencing it in your face. They're experiencing it in your frequency, and you're rubbing all this fucking nasty shit all over your customers. That's what they're experiencing. That's what they're experiencing. So until you can snap out of it, smash your head into a fucking toilet and wake the fuck up and decide to be great, you're gonna drown, bro. You're gonna drown. And drowning might be good for you. Matter of fact. So I'm like, you're faced with 1 of 2 options today. Have the best attitude. Understand that losing is the most pivotal part to winning. Losing is the most pivotal part to winning. You got to lose to win. You got to get your ass kicked to win. I lost more deals than anybody on this fucking Zoom. I guarantee thousands of deals. Thousands of people rejected me. And I didn't give up. I didn't give in. I didn't quit. I didn't get all fucking spun out. I just said, fuck it, man. Who cares? On to the next one, man. Listen, dude, the 2-year version of me ain't gonna know it. The 3-year version of me ain't gonna know it. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? Get rid of your baby feelings. Some of you, your biggest problem is you make decisions when you're emotional. I just get rid of the emotions and I'm like, nah, fuck that. That's not who I want to be. That's not who I'm going to be. That's not the lens that I'm going to see myself through. That's not the lens God's going to see me through. That's not the lens that I'm not doing that. Nope. You know, if you lived a little bit more that way, that kid, he's in a car dealer. Guys, I got to tell you something about car sales, and this is truth. It's not that hard of a sell, okay? These people come in, and most of you guys are sales prevention teams, and you just fuck it up. They're there to buy something, and then you go out there with shitty energy, a cheeseburger dangling out your mouth, you smell like onions, and then you go out there, and then you got your intention of making commission, so they smell the commission breath, and then they don't want to do anything. You're not after making the friend. You're after your own intentions. When I'm going out there, they feel that I'm like, oh man, hey, tell me a little bit about you. What's your family got going on, man? Hey, I got your back for life. Hey, no matter what you want to do, whether you buy today, doesn't matter. I'm just here to make a friend. And I make a friend. Salespeople that are just after the commissions are always broke. Salespeople that are after the fortunes make friends and they have money forever. It's crazy. It's just a mentality. I don't go out there with just this, oh, I need something from them, or, oh, they're here, they better buy from me. I go out there and I'm like, dude, welcome to my house, man. So excited you're here. Man, couldn't be more happy to be able to do this with you, man, today. Thank you for even giving us the opportunity to serve you today. I'm here for you. If you went in with that lens, you would always win. You would always win. Always. Oh, not 1% of the time, you would always win. Because no matter what happens, you come out a winner because you decided that you're a winner. Because you decided you can learn from every interaction. Because you decided that at everything that happens in your life, you can learn from. And guys, here's the deal. 99% of the world ain't gonna learn shit from anything. From anything. From anything. They're not gonna learn shit from past failed relationships. Guys, any relationship that I had that was bad, I look back at it and I used the lens of, it couldn't have just been them, it had to be me, right? Right? Like, I'm the common denominator in all my problems. I'm the common denominator in all my successes. I'm the common denominator in these things, but if I don't use a lens of how to look at it, and my lens is jaded, my lens is foggy, my lens doesn't make sense, then I just walk around like everybody else. So today, this whole thing is probably the best training that I've ever given, honestly. Because If you really learned from this training, it should change your entire life. And if I were you, I'd watch it 5,000 times. Like, that's where winners win. And that's where quitters quit, because they just watch it one time, get a little motivated, go back to their normal life. You got to live this way, man. Andy said it the other day on the questions and answers that he did with you guys. He said, dude, I live this way. I've reinforced that, and I told you that that lens that he uses, he really does live this way. And me, I'm getting better every day. I'm not as extreme as him, but I want to be, so I'm working on it, and I'm working my way towards it. I'm not perfect. He's not perfect. He makes mistakes, but there's one thing for sure. We know that in that formula to winning, making mistakes, learning, failing, all of those things, it's a formula to winning. But the most important formula to winning is, how do people see you? How do you see you? How do your customers see you? How do you see failure? How do you see success? When you get successful, is it all about you? You did all this shit? Or did God give that to you? Did other people help you get there? Did your team help you get there? Are you walking by your team and they've done something to help you get to where you're at, and you don't even acknowledge that they've done any of that? It's all you. That guy never wins, man. That guy always, always, always loses. He always burns apart. You know, I've always been a top salesman, but I've always motivated the team. I've always spent money on the team. I've always brought them with me. I've always wanted to give back. I've never really wanted the spotlight, ever. It almost like, I don't even like to talk about it. I don't even like to talk about it. I like to win, and I like to help others win, and I like to make it about them. I like to influence the culture that way, because I just don't want it to be about me. I think that's a really shitty lens. So today, you're faced with a couple things. You can learn from this, you can grow from this, and you can implement these things in your life, and you'll change. All right, guys, hopefully you learned some really good shit from that. Honestly, I think that there's so much that you can learn from that and really take into your life. If you have any questions, let me know. Kick some ass. Talk to you guys soon. All right, guys, you're the true 1%ers. You made it to the end of the video. Let's go. Like, comment, so we know who you are down below, and then share this video to somebody else who needs it. And also turn your notifications on, because we got the fire coming every single day. Amazing. We'll see you at the next video. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.